Good morning, friends. My name is Barbara Hitt. My pronouns are she and her, and I am delighted to welcome you to the Unitarian Church of Huntsville. Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville on this beautiful morning in September when we gather to have our water communion. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of Native tribes who were forced to leave their land. Whether you've joined us online or you're here in our beautiful sanctuary, we're glad to have you with us at this time we choose to be together. You are welcome here. We are an open community for learning, justice-making, and caring. Our congregation is served by our minister, Rev. Jamie Dingus. She's available by contacting the church office for pastoral care or questions about who we are and what we do. If you are a newcomer, please sign our guest book back in the foyer, and we will email you our weekly newsletter. Please take a moment to shut off all your digital devices that may interrupt the service. If you have a joy, a sorrow, or an important milestone that you'd like to share during our circle of candles and have it be included in the pastoral care, where did the card go? There's a white card in the pew in front of you that you can fill out and drop into the offertory basket when it comes around. For community news, you can also check our email website, our email newsletter, and the white insert in today's announcements, or the service. There has been an announcement, and actually it's in the service today, about a lunch to be held for elders on September 18th. And some of us are wondering just who those elders are. Some of us we know for sure we're elders, but we're not sure who else is eligible. So some of us have come up with some ideas. You are eligible if you have ever chased an eye floater with a fly swatter. Your train of thought sometimes leaves the station without you. The candles on your birthday cake could set off the smoke detector. It takes you twice as long to look half as good. And this is me. You feel like your body and brain are in a race to see which can go down the tubes faster. And for my husband, Gary, one of the oldest, if not the oldest, members of the church, says you can sit at the head table with him if you can name at least 10 characters from the old radio programs that we used to listen to before there was television and internet. Remember Great Gildersleeve, Fibber McGee and Molly? I see a lot of blank stares. But other suggestions for eligibility are welcome and can be shared at the fellowship dinner today. Speaking of the fellowship dinner, that's right after the service, and everybody's welcome to come, whether you brought a dish or not. We are caring, sharing people. Now, I would like to invite Saoirse, with help from Anna DeLacy, to ring the singing bowl to help us to enter into our service more deeply. Finally, having gathered in a shared quest for truth, meaning, and purpose, let us light our chalice with these words. We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion from our travels. We reunite to share the flow of our hearts with one another, to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another, excuse me, excuse me, through the rapids of change, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together we honor the spirit of water, its many forms, and its life-giving essence. And now let us enter into this morning's service more deeply with music for centering and our thread song.
Good morning, friends. Welcome in, welcome here. My name is Reverend Jamie Dingus. My pronouns are she and her, and I serve you as the minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. Thank you for being here with us, whether you've gathered in person with us in our sanctuary or on Zoom. We are so grateful to have you with us. Instead of our traditional sharing of words for centering this morning, I want to share a message of greetings and ingathering from my colleague, our Unitarian Universalist Association president, the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt. And let's see if the tech will just behave for us.
Beloveds, it is my joy to bring you greetings, celebration, and welcome as we lean into a new congregational year. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What a time, what a moment. moment for us to be together. Beloveds, it is my joy to bring you greetings, celebration, and welcome as we lean into a new congregational year. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What a time, what a moment for us to be together. I want to begin by acknowledging that we are in a time of great transition, a time of great need in the world, that this can put immense pressures on us, on our leaders, on our members, on our communities, on our constituencies. And we know that the work that lies before us is a long journey work, not a short run ahead. And how we are with one another, how we support each other, will have everything to do with how we meet the moment in this coming year. I want to reassure you that your UUA is excited to serve as your colleagues, your collaborators, as those who can help resource us all in these times. We're here to help equip Unitarian Universalism to meet this moment together. This year, your UUA organizing strategy team has launched UU the Vote 2024 to continue to build our collective power in community between and beyond the election cycles of this country. In the coming months, our goals are to get an even larger number of UUs involved and to live ever more fully into answering this question: what does love require of us in this political season and beyond? Now, we know also that life in our congregations can feel like it is in a constant state of action and reaction, even as so many of us are leaning into new and creative ways to live this freely chosen life in community. All of us here at your UUA hold these struggles and these opportunities together with you. And I hope that we can all turn to one another in the coming months as we live out our mission, grounded in Unitarian Universalism's insistence that no one is disposable, that all communities are worthy of safety and thriving, and that we will all get free together. My first year as your UUA president was a time of deep listening, of relationship building, of traveling to be with so many of you across the nation and beyond, to help work to facilitate building structures of communal care within our association and beyond. We've laid groundwork together for new initiatives like the climate justice revival that is coming in just weeks at the end of September, and working to meet the moment together in these times. We've carried forward ongoing processes like UU the Vote, like responding to the Widening the Circle of Concern report from our Commission on Institutional Change, all of which can bring us to deeper levels of commitment to mutual thriving. This and so much more is in the work between and among us. There is so much good that is happening at your UUA, and we look forward to continuing to share all of that with you in the coming year. I also want to celebrate that we just held a historic General Assembly, all virtual, this past year in 2024. After a democratic process involving thousands of Unitarian Universalists discussing our faith's values and core theology, delegates at our 2024 GA voted decisively to approve a new statement that articulates those historically grounded promises and commitments in accessible and compelling invitational ways. We are an ever-evolving tradition, and we honor the various expressions of our shared values and principles that can serve to unite our congregations and communities as we celebrate the work of those who brought us this far toward a renewed expression of our lasting legacy in the world. And I know there are many of us who still need to live into these renewed, these expressed values that are feeling some loss over language, even in our bylaws. I want to say that we're living into these changes together, that we will give them life in community, as we have done many times before. I look forward to this continued journey together. One of the most significant actions we took at GA this past year was to approve with overwhelming votes of support our business resolution embracing transgender, non-binary, and intersex and gender diverse people is a fundamental expression of UU religious values. This was more than a bureaucratic affirmation of our deepest commitments because business resolutions, once we pass them, require your UUA to implement them as core to the association's work. This vote, your vote as Unitarian Universalists, solidifies and strengthens our ministry to and with transgender, non-binary, and intersex members of our communities. It strengthens all of us in our commitments to our liberal and liberating faith. At this time of ingathering and beginning again, this time of renewal, our call is not to do more things. It is instead to be together, to make a commitment to our communities. The simple act of joining together in community is an expression of faithfulness in such divided times. It lies at the heart of how we practice our Unitarian Universalism. Our lives together in our congregations and our communities serve to embody this faith. We all are how Unitarian Universalism shows up in the world. May we continue to come together now and in the coming months, find new ways to express our care for one another, even and especially in the presence of real differences. This is how we meet the moment, by practicing our faith together. Welcome, beloveds, to the promise of a new congregational year. I look forward to holding the power and the promise of our tradition with you.
Thank you, Reverend Sophia, for your wise words of welcome. I'd like to now invite us to rise together in body and spirit to sing our opening hymn. It's number 1067 in your teal hymnal, and it's called Mother Earth, Beloved Garden. As we regather together, we pull from the pagan practice of calling on the directions, sacred pivot points in nature to be with us now. Let's rise and sing together. 1067.
Mother Earth, beloved garden, living treasure underfoot. All our days you ground our being, sage and thistle, grass and root. Herbs to heal us, plants to feed us, lands to till and tend and plow. With the pendants deep as midnight north, we ask you be here now. Father, ere your inspiration holds together all that lives, as we breathe our minds see clearly, leading us to live and give. Raging whirlwind, whispered breezes, violent gaze and gentle cloud. With the blade as sharp as morning, east we ask you be here now. Brother fire, great transformer, share the passion of the sun. In our hearts your warmth revives us, cooks our fields and heats our homes. Flaming candle blood within us, blazing desert will to grow. With the wand directing power, south we ask you be here now. Sister water ever flowing, river, pond and rain, drink we now and quench our thirsting, cleanse us we begin again. Mist and ice, a host of changes all that courage will allow. With the cup, the holy chalice, rest we ask you, be here now. Love, a spirit, intuition in the center of our souls. In your love we find relation, all connected we are whole. Timeless mystery, quiet conscience, deepest values voice inside. With the drum and with the cauldron, quaith we ask you, be our guide.
Each week following our first hymn, we remain risen and sing our doxology and speak in unison our words of aspiration. When we get to those words of aspiration, it is our practice to turn and face one another, speaking these words as words of promise in community. Let's sing together.
From all who dwell below the skies, let faith and hope with love arise. Let beauty, truth, and good be sung through every land by every tongue. De todos bajo el gran sol, surja esperanza, fe, amor, verdad y belleza cantando de cada tierra, cada voz.
May love be the spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. You may be seated. And I'd like to invite children and youth and anyone who wants a closer view of the pictures to come on up and join our Director of Religious Education, Jess Zelaya, for our story for all ages.
Y'all are all over there, and I'm over here. Water Dance by Thomas Locker. Some people say that I am one thing. Others say that I am many. Ever since the world began, I have been moving in an endless circle. Sometimes I fall from the sky. I am the rain. Sometimes I cascade. I tumble down, down over the moss-covered rocks, through the forest shadows. I am the mountain stream. At the foot of the mountains, I leap from a stone cliff, spiraling, plunging. I am the waterfall. In the shadows of the mountain, I am still and deep. I fill and overflow. I am the lake. I wind through broad golden valleys, joined by streams, joined by creeks. I grow ever wider, broader, and deeper. I am the river. I pass through a gateway of high stone palisades, leaving the land behind. Cool silver moonlight sparkles and dances on my waves. I am the sea. Dawn upward, drawn upward by warm sunlight. In white silver veils, I rise into the air. I disappear. I am the mist. In thousands of shapes, I reappear high above the earth in the blue sky. I float, I drift. I am the clouds. Carried by winds from distant seas, I move, growing heavier, growing darker, returning. I am the storm front. At the wall of the mountains, I rise up as gleaming, power-filled towers in the darkened sky. I am the thunderhead. I blind the sky with lightning. The earth trembles with my thunder. I rage. I drench the mountainside. I am the storm. Storms come, storms pass. I am countless droplets of rain, left floating in the silent air. I reflect all the colors of sunlight. I am the rainbow. I am one thing. I am many things. I am water. This is my dance through our world. Okay, today we're going to go back to our seats and stay for the rest of service.
We are the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. Got it all out that time. We are a proudly inclusive spiritual community. Together we build a broader search for meaning, a bolder form of compassion, and a braver voice for justice. If you would like to support us with a monetary contribution, we would love to accept it. Your generosity helps us to keep the utilities on, maintain our building and grounds, especially the air conditioning this summer, run our various ministries, pay our well-deserving staff a fair wage, and support other organizations that share our values. You can donate online using the QR code on the back of the order of service, or you can put cash or check donations in the offering basket. If you filled out a Circle of Candles card, you can drop that in the basket when it goes by. You are also invited to come forward during this time and quietly drop a stone into the bowl of water here next to the ramp in honor or memory of what you hold in your heart. It is through your generosity that we serve our mission here at UUCH. With gratitude, we now receive the offering.
Friends, will you join me now for this time of meditation, reflection, prayer, and sharing? And may the spirit of love move through us and between us in this gathering as we share all that is on our hearts and lift up what matters most to us. Our lives have some bright joys that must be shared in community. This morning I have a variety of joys to share from this congregation. I'm personally sharing gratitude that my lovely colleague, the Reverend Darcy Corbett from First Universalist Church in Camp Hill, Alabama, is here to worship with us this morning and brings greeting, and I hear water communion water from their congregation. What a gift. Thank you, Darcy, for being with us this morning. LaDawn Edwards shares in joy that she bought a dog daycare business and looks forward to serving this pet-loving community. Congratulations, LaDawn. I have two joys from Susie DeLacy. First, enjoying the beautiful fall decor here in the sanctuary and in Fellowship Hall. Big thanks, Melody Breyer, for your work making that happen. And Ben DeLacy is out of the hospital and feeling pretty well after some medication. Ben, we love you all the time. We send you our very best wherever you are and wish you well as you continue to heal and grow. And Lorelei shares this morning a big joy. We are going to Florida, to the beach. How fun. I hope you have the best time, Lorelei. And this is a big one. Jojo Efemenko shares with us in joy that this past week she came out as a woman to her coworkers, to purely positive reception. Jojo shares that this marks the completion of her social transition in all areas of her life. She is a woman. We are so happy for you, Jojo. And we hold you in the sorrow that continues, needing to seek support for the anxiety of being a trans person living in our state and working and moving through the world with the struggles and oppression that comes with it, not just for herself, but everyone who feels they don't belong. We hold that sorrow too, Jojo. It is true that our lives hold sorrows too heavy to hold alone. We send love and solidarity to the children, teachers, and greater community of Appalachia High School in Winder, Georgia, and the school shooting victims in Maryland that happened a couple days later. And we send frustration and disgust to our lawmakers who continue to allow these senseless gun crimes to happen. May change come soon. Laura Johnson shares in sorrow that last Friday, her mom fell and broke her wrist and has a blood clot. Wow, she had quite the fall, a lot of injuries that happened and had to go to Huntsville Hospital for a week and now is trying to recover at physical therapy. We wish her well in the recovery process and wish you well as you manage helping your mother. Blessings to you, Laura. And our hearts come together because there are joys and sorrows and anxieties and milestones too tender to share aloud yet, but still so present in this space together. Let's take another breath in honor of those not shared. Spirit of love moving between and through us, hold us as we remember that love and compassion knit us together in community. May our world be transformed by our care. Blessed be and amen. And let's sing together our responsive hymn, number 1009, in that teal hymnal, Meditation on Breathing.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
Beloveds, welcome again and welcome back. While we weren't entirely apart during the summer months, as some of our New England UU family were, there is a spreading, a dissipation that happens in July and August, and when September begins and the air blessedly begins to cool around us, we mark a returning to community. We mark this return with water, and we ask ourselves, in this new chapter that honors tradition and reveres the future, where are we flowing? Where are we flowing in this community? Where are you flowing in your life? In your ministry, the ministry that each of you offer and inhabit in this hurting world? Where are you being called to move and serve and grow? Dr. Lewis Fisher, who's the former dean of the Universalist Seminary at St. Lawrence University in upstate New York, coincidentally my grandfather's alma mater, was quoted saying, "Universalists are often asked to tell the world where they stand. The only true answer to give to this question is that we do not stand at all. We move. Like Universalists before us, may we move with love and intention. We are moving now into a time that is both precious, important, and utterly new. This is a new time for our congregation. This fall, we offer our whole lives human sexuality education. I'm just going to call it OWL. That makes it easier to not stumble on. OWL beginning this afternoon for our young people. Hey, young people, anyone excited to start OWL class this afternoon? I see some of you out there. Even if you're not excited yet, you're going to get excited. Because this is the first time we've been able to offer this incredible program since the lockdowns of the pandemic. And in a state like ours that is as regressive with its education as it is with its healthcare, what could be more important than equipping our children with facts and tools necessary to have healthy bodies and healthy relationships? This is a new time. As a congregation, we have a new mission and vision statement, words that call us to search for meaning broadly, offer compassion boldly, and speak for justice bravely. I wonder in the next few weeks and months how we will live this mission and vision more fully. As a community, we are preparing for my upcoming sabbatical, the period from January 1st to April 30th, in which I will be entirely away from the congregation, growing and learning and resting and recharging and getting married. And in this time, our congregation will practice shared ministry, experiencing the gifts and challenges of a different sabbatical minister. And this is the time where our lay leaders will step up into even more of the day-to-day leadership of the beloved community we share. I hope this becomes a time where you can reflect on who we are as a congregation and where we are flowing. As my colleague, Reverend Betancourt, shared this morning, this is a new time for Unitarian Universalism. We've just adopted this new statement of values that will guide and inspire us for the next chapter of our UU story. What will shift in us as we explore justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, all with love at the center? And I don't think I have to remind you what a critical time we are in our world. We're in the midst of this terribly important election where things like reproductive choice and affordable health care and housing and human rights and education and economic opportunity are very much on the ballot. And we continue to see the threats of fascism and US imperialism and climate change rising around us. Where are we flowing, friends? As our former UUA president, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, often said, "This is no time for a casual faith." What could be more true as we move forward and meet the challenges and opportunities and changes that are coming our way? As we inhabit this new time, we need to hone in on who we are, what it is we value most, and how we want to choose to be with one another. We are a covenanting community after all, and to name and say yes to the future we are moving toward, and name and say no to all that we are leaving behind is foundational to how we practice this covenant. In my career as a UU minister, I've heard a fair number of UU sermons, and there are very few that I remember as clearly or as boldly as this sermon preached by my colleague, the Reverend Nancy McDonald Ladd, at the UUA General Assembly in 2016. I want to share an excerpt of her sermon to serve as inspiration for us as we move into this new time. Here we go. "For as long as two or more have gathered in the name of the Spirit, those two or more have fought some fake fights." You remember, perhaps, the classic wedding reading from Corinthians, which says, "If I speak in tongues of mortals or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing." That letter from the Apostle Paul to the early Christian community in Corinth has nothing whatsoever to do with weddings. It's a letter from an overextended pastor with occasionally dubious judgment to a congregation whose leaders are in a constant state of fierce conflict. The early Christians in Corinth were literally shouting their prayers like clanging cymbals over top of each other, trying to prove who was better at praying. They were making faith into a contest, and whether he was saintly or not, Paul was having none of it. The collective wisdom of the ages reminds us that the stakes are high. As we've reminded ourselves, friends, the stakes are high. And the ultimate prize we must reach out for in community is greater than the imagined divisions and arguments that pull us apart. Here's a segue you won't see coming. You know, in WrestleMania, when professional wrestlers have those fake fights, sometimes they really are at risk of getting hurt. And do you know what they do? Before the muscle snaps or the bones break in that fake fight, they tap out. They bang the mat. When the fake fight gets close to having real consequences, they tap out of it. I tell you what, I'm tapping out right now, and I invite you to join me. I'm tapping out of the fake fights in our congregations and our larger UU movement about getting what I want, or what you want, or what we think we want, because the stakes are too high. And we don't have time to fight fake fights. A fake fight about the bylaws in the annual meeting is most often a carefully concealed real fight about the values that undergird our history coming into relationship with the values that may undergird our future. If we can get past duking it out over the paint color in the church bathroom, this is from Nancy's sermon, we may encounter a pastoral window into the inner life of one whose voice in the world seems increasingly powerless. And all lives matter. Yes, that one chief among the fake fights and cover conversations of 2016 when this was first preached that distracted from the work at hand. It was not about the slogan. More often than not, it's about our deep and abiding resistance to actually taking on the systemic white supremacy that eats at the heart of us and of our culture. I know for a fact that the real conversations are waiting, just beneath the surface of the fake fights. There lives the actual encounter, soul to soul, hand to hand, in which real change is possible. So let's have those conversations, the real ones, the hard ones, the ones that require us to keep showing up. And let's do it with love and forgiveness, calling out and calling in, calling forth a new kind of community, both in our congregations and in the world. The real fight beckons. The real conversations about our history and our identity, our relevance and our resistance. The world does not need another place for like-minded, liberal-leading people to hang out together and fight about who's in charge. The world does not need a place where you or I or any of us is going to get what we want every time. What the world needs is a movement like ours to step more fully into our higher calling, to serve as an instrument for encounter with one another, with the holy and with the world, so that we might love more fully and speak more truly and serve with greater efficacy. Thank you, Reverend Nancy, for speaking the truth, so relevant then and so relevant now. As we approach this new church year, with its challenges and changes, with its uncertainty about where we are flowing, I'm inviting us to tap out of the fake fights, and in so doing, dig into the real deep conversations. Let's name now what we are saying yes to. I'm going to invite us now to say yes to being bold and brave and broad together as our mission invites. Will you say yes to that? Yes. Let's say yes to meeting our disagreements with curiosity and wonder. Can we say yes to that? Yes. Let's say yes to being wrong sometimes and asking questions and learning something new. Can we say yes to that? Let's say yes to letting new leaders try out new ideas, even when it's something we've never tried before. Yes. Let's say yes to putting our money and our collective power on the line for the issues that matter most. Yes. Let's say yes to more love and more kindness in the way we interact with one another. Yes. Let's say yes to building deeper friendships here. After all, my friends, people come here for the welcome and the theology and the great preaching, but they stay for the friendships. Let's say yes to one another, wholly imperfect, flowing towards love. Yes. Yes. Now, friends, I want to move us into our ritual of water communion. This ritual has been celebrated by Unitarian Universalists for around 40 years. It was started by women who wanted to create a ritual of healing and solidarity that called out the historic sexism within Unitarian Universalist leadership. And since then, this ritual has transformed and grown to be an act of community and communion celebrated each fall by UU congregations all over the country and the world. Gathered here, we return to ourselves, we start over, we feel renewed, and with joy we say yes to all that will happen as we embrace a new church year. In this gathering, we will pour water into a vessel, knowing that water is a gift of life, a building block. It is a symbol of healing and renewal, of remembrance, of rebirth. In this common bowl is water from last year's water communion, and some of that water has some of the year before, and the year before that, and the year before that. This water creates a link to past, present, and future. When we pour our waters together, we unite as one people, one community, one force of healing in our world, returned to the homes of our souls. Will you sing with me? It's 10:11 in your teal hymnal.
Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again.
So, row by row, you're invited to come forward. If you brought water from home or from your travels or from some sacred place in your life, you can pour that into our communal bowl. Or if you'd like to pour symbolic water, that is available to you too. When you get to the front, pause for just a moment. Reflect on the water you bring. The question, where are you flowing? And pour a small amount of that water into our common bowl. Together, let us recommit to the good work of this congregation and remember that our separate waters flow together in unity. We'll keep singing Return Again over and over as everyone pours their water. And it's technically a round, so if you want to round it, rock and roll. Let us share our water communion.
Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are.
Beloveds, may the waters gathered here remind us of what each of us brings to this community. May it remind us we are connected in an endless, unbroken line, past, present, and future. May it help us grow and change as our world requires growth and change from us. May it give us sustenance and energy for our life journeys, and may it flow us forward on the river of life. Blessed be. Having found inspiration, direction, and recommitment in this gathering, let's sing our closing hymn. It's number 299 in the gray hymnal, Make Channels for the Streams of Love. Please rise in body and spirit to sing with me.
Make channels for the streams of love. He may broadly run, and love has overflowing streams to fill them everyone. But if at any time we seize such channels to provide, the very founts of love for us will soon be parched and dry. For we must share if we would keep this gift all else above. And the days to give we cease to have. Such is the love of love.
Let us now take a moment to extinguish our chalice with these words. The chalice flame is out, but its light lives on in the minds and hearts and souls of each one of you.
Friends, our service now comes to a close. I will be at the back of the sanctuary to greet you, and you're invited to stick around after the service for our potluck lunch. Even if you forgot to bring something today, and especially if you're hungry, please stay and eat, and make it a point to say hello and greet someone you might not know very well yet. Let's leave this sacred time with these parting words. Go with faith. Not the kind that is called to move mountains, but the quieter source that calls us to take the first step, even when the whole staircase sits beyond our view. And as we move toward the unseen, may we notice that the way unfolds only as we risk traveling it. And may we remember and trust that on this journey, we are never alone. Amen. Blessed be, and let's go out singing together our rite of community, Be Thou With Us. Go in peace, blessed be, and amen.